On a sunny afternoon in downtown Chicago, the city was alive with the buzz of activity. Luxury cars glided past the shimmering storefronts, and the laughter of affluent patrons filled the air as they enjoyed their lattes in trendy cafes. In stark contrast to this bustling scene sat Marcus, a black man in his mid-40s, wearing a worn-out jacket that had seen better days. His scruffy beard and tired eyes told a story of hardship, but his presence commanded respect. There was a wisdom about him that stemmed from years of life experience. Marcus was no stranger to the streets. He had been homeless for 3 years, forced out of a life that once promised him everything. As he leaned against the cool stone of a building, he watched people pass by, lost in their worlds, unaware of the battles fought in silence. On the other side of town, Amelia Carter, a wealthy entrepreneur known for her charitable work, was having a rough day. Her latest venture, a tech startup aimed at helping underprivileged youth, was struggling to gain traction. Despite her best efforts, the business was on the verge of collapse, and with it, her dreams of making a difference. Frustrated and exhausted, she decided to take a break from her office and headed out for a stroll, hoping to clear her mind. As fate would have it, Amelia's path crossed with Marcus's when she spotted him sitting outside a bustling cafe. Something about his demeanor drew her in. Perhaps it was the calmness in his eyes or the quiet strength he exuded. After a moment's hesitation, she approached him. "Excuse me," she said gently, her voice breaking through the haze of his thoughts. "I know this might sound strange, but would you like something to eat?" Marcus looked up, surprised by the unexpected kindness. "I appreciate the offer, ma'am, but I'm not hungry," he replied, his voice deep and gravelly. "I'm just thinking." Amelia sat down beside him, intrigued. "Thinking about what?" He hesitated, glancing around at the people enjoying their lives. "Life, I guess. How easy it is to lose everything." Amelia's heart ached at his words. She could see the pain etched into his features, a stark reminder of the harsh realities that existed just beneath the surface of her privileged world. After a few moments of silence, Amelia found herself wanting to know more. "What's your name?" "Marcus," he replied, offering a small smile. "And you?" "Amelia. It's nice to meet you, Marcus." She paused, contemplating her next words. "I run a tech startup aimed at helping people like you. We provide resources and training for those who want to turn their lives around. Have you ever considered working in tech?" Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Tech? Me?" He chuckled softly, but there was a glimmer of interest in his eyes. "Absolutely. It's never too late to learn something new. I could use someone with your life experience. You have a unique perspective that could help shape our mission." Surprised by her enthusiasm, Marcus felt a flicker of hope. "What kind of work are you talking about?" "Anything from outreach to project management. We could start with training to see where your strengths lie," Amelia explained, her excitement palpable. "And I'd be happy to help you get back on your feet." Marcus's heart raced. He hadn't thought about working in years, much less in a field like tech. "I don't know if I'm qualified," he said, doubt creeping into his voice. "Qualifications can be learned. Passion is what matters. If you're willing to give it a shot, I'll support you," she insisted. After a moment of contemplation, Marcus nodded slowly. "All right, I'll give it a try. What do I have to lose?" Amelia beamed, and for the first time in a long while, Marcus felt a sense of purpose rekindling within him. Over the next few weeks, Amelia and Marcus met regularly. She introduced him to the world of technology, showing him the ins and outs of her startup. To her surprise, Marcus was a quick learner. His analytical mind, honed from years of navigating life's challenges, proved to be an asset. He had a natural gift for understanding complex systems, and Amelia could see the spark of confidence growing in him. As they worked together, Marcus opened up about his past. He had once been a successful software engineer, living in a modest but comfortable apartment with a steady job and plans for the future. But a series of unfortunate events, a sudden illness, the loss of a loved one, and a failing marriage, had spiraled him into homelessness. Each day on the streets had chipped away at his self-worth, making it hard for him to believe he could ever reclaim his life. Amelia listened intently, her heart breaking for him. You've already shown resilience by surviving, she said encouragingly. You can rebuild. Just remember, everyone has a story. Yours is powerful. As they collaborated, Amelia began to realize that Marcus was not just a project. He was becoming a friend. Their shared moments were filled with laughter and inspiration, a bond formed from understanding and shared struggles. Months passed, and Marcus was ready for his first official role at the startup. With Amelia's guidance, he had developed a training program aimed at helping homeless individuals gain digital skills. The day of the presentation arrived, and he stood nervously in front of a room full of potential investors. "Good afternoon, everyone," he began, his voice steady despite the butterflies in his stomach. "My name is Marcus, and I'm here to talk about opportunity. My life took a turn that led me to experience homelessness, but what I learned is that every person has the potential to contribute meaningfully to society." As he spoke, he shared stories of his struggles, the lessons he learned, and the importance of empathy. He detailed the program he had developed, how it would provide the tools and resources needed to empower those in similar situations. When he finished, the room erupted in applause. Amelia beamed with pride as she watched him flourish. She knew that this moment marked a significant turning point, not just for Marcus, but for her startup as well. As the meeting concluded, a well-dressed man approached them. "Impressive presentation, Marcus. I think you have a bright future ahead," he said, extending his hand. "Thank you," Marcus replied, shaking his hand with a newfound confidence. Just as they were about to leave, a commotion at the back of the room caught their attention. A familiar voice rang out, echoing through the space. "Marcus, is that you?" Everyone turned to see a woman in her 40s, her face pale and filled with disbelief. It was Sarah, Marcus's ex-wife. The last time he had seen her was on the day he left everything behind. She had moved on, or so he thought. "Sarah," he whispered, his heart racing. "What are you doing here?" "I was invited by a friend. I had no idea." She trailed off, her eyes scanning the room before landing on Amelia. "You're working with him?" "Sarah, please," Marcus said, raising his hands. "Let's talk privately." The two stepped aside, the tension palpable. "I didn't know you were in Chicago. Why didn't you reach out?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. "I didn't want to drag you back into my mess," he replied, emotion choking his words. "I'm trying to get back on my feet." "You look different. You're doing well," she said, her eyes softening. "I'm trying. Amelia has been a huge help," he admitted, gesturing toward her. Sarah's gaze shifted to Amelia, and recognition dawned. "You're the one who started that tech program. I've heard of you. You're doing great work." Amelia smiled, but the atmosphere felt charged with unspoken emotions. "Thank you. We're all just trying to make a difference," she replied, unsure of how much to share. "Marcus, I need to tell you something," Sarah said, her voice steadying. "I've missed you. I've thought about you every day. I didn't realize how hard things were for you until I saw your name in the news. They wrote an article about your startup." Marcus felt a mix of emotions, anger, regret, and longing. "It's too late for us," he said softly. "I can't go back to that life." "But can we start over as friends? I want to support you," she pleaded. Marcus considered her words, knowing the road ahead would be complex. "I don't know, Sarah. I need time." Amelia watched the exchange, her heart heavy with the weight of their shared history. "Maybe it's time to embrace the future, Marcus," she said gently. As the days turned into weeks, Marcus's relationship with Sarah began to heal. They met regularly, talking through their past and the pain they both endured. While they knew they could never go back to what they once had, they found solace in shared experiences and a newfound understanding. With every meeting, Marcus felt a blend of hope and apprehension. Sarah's presence stirred old memories, both good and bad. He often wondered if rekindling their friendship was a step forward or a backward glance at a life he was trying to leave behind. However, as the conversations deepened, he realized that this was not just about the past, but also about healing and growth. At the same time, his work with Amelia was blossoming. The training program was gaining traction, and they received funding from local investors intrigued by the impact it could make. Marcus was excited to expand the initiative and help others in similar situations as he had faced. With Amelia's support, he organized workshops and outreach events, connecting with various homeless shelters and community organizations. Their first major event was set for the upcoming month, an open house showcasing the success stories of those who had benefited from the program. As Marcus prepared for the presentation, he felt a mix of nerves and exhilaration. This was his chance not just to highlight the program's impact, but also to reclaim his identity as someone who could help others. Meanwhile, Amelia worked tirelessly behind the scenes, ensuring everything was in place. She had become more than just a mentor. She was now a partner in Marcus's journey. As the day of the open house approached, she noticed the change in him. His demeanor was more confident, and his laughter came more easily. The spark that had once seemed dim now burned bright. The day of the open house arrived, and the venue buzzed with excitement. Attendees included potential donors, community leaders, and individuals looking for inspiration. The atmosphere was electric, filled with hope and possibility. As Marcus stood at the front of the room, he looked out at the crowd, feeling both proud and humbled. "Thank you all for being here today," he began, his voice steady. "This program is not just about teaching skills, it's about restoring dignity and offering a path forward. Each of us has a story, and I want to share mine." As he spoke, he recounted his journey, from success to hardship, and ultimately to hope. He spoke candidly about the dark days of living on the streets, the struggles that had led him there, and the resilience he discovered within himself. He shared stories of others he had met during his time in the program, showcasing their triumphs and transformations. Amelia watched with pride as Marcus commanded the room, his passion igniting a fire within the hearts of everyone present. By the end of his presentation, the audience was captivated. People began to raise their hands, eager to offer support, financial contributions, volunteer time, and resources. After the formalities concluded, attendees mingled and shared their thoughts. A woman approached Marcus, tears in her eyes. "Your story touched me deeply. My brother has struggled with homelessness for years. I want to help in any way I can." As conversations flowed, Marcus felt an overwhelming sense of purpose. For the first time in years, he was no longer just surviving, he was thriving. After the event, Sarah approached him. "You were amazing today. I'm so proud of you," she said, her voice genuine. "Thanks, Sarah. I couldn't have done it without Amelia's support," he replied, glancing at Amelia, who was busy speaking with a group of attendees. As they moved to a quieter corner, Sarah continued, "I know our past is complicated, but I want to be part of your journey. Can we work together? I have contacts in nonprofit sectors that could benefit the program." Marcus was taken aback. "You really want to help? After everything?" I've realized how much I took for granted when we were together. I want to support you now, not just as your ex-wife, but as a friend," she replied earnestly. Marcus pondered her offer. It was an unexpected twist, but he sensed a genuine desire to make amends. "If you're serious about this, I'd welcome the help. Let's see where it goes." As they collaborated, the dynamic between them shifted. They began to form a professional partnership rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Sarah introduced Marcus to various organizations that aligned with their mission, expanding their reach and impact. With Sarah's connections, the training program grew rapidly. They secured more funding, allowing them to hire additional trainers and expand their curriculum. Marcus found himself immersed in work that brought him fulfillment, but it wasn't without challenges. As the program gained notoriety, critics emerged. Some questioned the effectiveness of their approach, while others voiced skepticism about the potential for change. Amelia and Marcus were determined to address these challenges head-on. They organized community forums, inviting critics to discuss their concerns openly. During one such forum, a prominent local journalist challenged Marcus. "You speak of transformation, but what makes you think those who've fallen on hard times can truly change?" Marcus took a deep breath, recalling his journey. "I am living proof that change is possible. I was once lost, but I found my way back. It's not just about skills, it's about belief. When you invest in people, you empower them to see their worth." The room fell silent as Marcus's words resonated with many. His authenticity and determination shifted the conversation, slowly winning over skeptics. Months turned into a year, and the program flourished. Marcus had become a well-respected figure in the community, speaking at events and sharing his story to inspire others. He and Amelia had forged a strong partnership, driven by a shared vision of creating lasting change. As the program thrived, Amelia and Marcus often reflected on their journeys, their paths intertwined by fate, leading them to this moment. One afternoon, as they sat in the office after a successful event, Marcus turned to Amelia. "I couldn't have done any of this without you. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." Amelia smiled, her eyes glimmering. "You did the hard work, Marcus. I just provided the platform. Your resilience is what makes this program a success." As they spoke, Sarah entered the room, her expression bright. "Great news! We just received a grant from a major foundation to expand our outreach program." Marcus felt a rush of gratitude. "That's incredible. We can help so many more people." "Together, we're building something special," Sarah added, her tone sincere. The three of them stood united, looking out at the future filled with possibilities. A year later, they organized a community celebration to mark the success of their initiative. Former participants shared their stories of transformation, how they had found jobs, restored relationships, and gained self-worth. Amelia took the stage, her heart swelling with pride. This program isn't just about skills, it's about community, support, and love. Together, we're changing lives. As Marcus stepped up to share his journey once more, he couldn't help but glance at Sarah and Amelia, who stood in support. They had become allies in his quest for redemption, proving that even the darkest paths could lead to unexpected partnerships and hope. "Life can be unforgiving," he began, "but it can also be beautiful if we allow ourselves to grow and heal. Thank you for believing in me, and thank you for believing in each other." The audience erupted in applause, and tears filled his eyes. In that moment, he realized he was no longer the homeless man he once was. He was a beacon of hope, a testament to resilience, and a catalyst for change. As the celebration concluded, Amelia, Marcus, and Sarah stood together, surveying the crowd of inspired individuals. Each face represented a story of struggle and triumph, a reminder of why they had embarked on this journey together. "What's next?" Sarah asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Marcus smiled. "We keep going. There are still so many people who need help, and we're just getting started." Amelia nodded. "Let's continue to push boundaries and make a difference. Together." As they walked away from the stage, hand in hand, they felt the weight of the past lift. The future was bright, filled with potential, and their partnership was a testament to the power of compassion and understanding. In that moment, they knew that no matter where life took them, they would face it together, united by their shared vision of hope and healing.